What's up, guys? Welcome to Creating 2019. This is the second annual summit, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to share with you guys these epic ladies that I've put together to jam on what it takes to create an epic year. And I chose people that are actually, in my experience, in the work, living it, doing it, breathing it, taking themselves on, people that are actually in the trenches, working on themselves to become the most authentic self-expression to their purpose and their magic. And I think we all begin with, what's up, mama? How are you? You need to check your email, by the way, Michelle. What's up, Chris, Adam, Carlos, George? Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. We are kicking off Creating 2019. 22 experts on what it takes to create an epic year. I think the new year comes with so many promises and so many, it's just a beautiful reflection that we have a blank canvas to create infinite possibilities. And yet it is up to us to up-level and align our mindset, our energy in this self-mastery, self-awareness, to really put ourselves out there, to really put ourselves, what's up, Jennifer? Hey, Chelsea, Alma, Yelena, this is so awesome. Say what's up, let me know in the comments, where are you coming in from? We are doing lives from multiple pages because everyone that has signed up for this summit has been redirected to the Facebook business page. We're going to be diving into a group community, so please sign up. What's up, Mom? I'm going to pull you in right now. I'm just kind of like prefacing everything. But make sure you sign up to creatingyour2019.com. What? Saudi Arabia? Hello. Nice. Amazing. When do you... we need to hear about this trip, girl. This is amazing. So I want all of you, if you haven't signed up, sign up to creatingyour2019.com. I'm going to put the link in the comments, and you are going to be, for the next 10 days, you are going to be joining a conversation, a big-ass party with all these amazing experts jamming on what it takes to create an epic year. So with that being said, you're also going to receive a free gift too when you sign up. And we're running a contest that whoever shares the most lives on their page, and I have an intern that is going to be specifically tracking this, whoever shares the most lives, so go ahead and share this, is going to receive a 45-minute strategy session with me one-on-one via Zoom or one of these amazing technology apps that we have to connect us, Skype or Zoom, wherever you are. But we're going to dive in for 45 minutes, just you and I, on planning, strategizing, and really solidifying the vision and the why for 2019, leaving you with some clear plans. So go ahead and share this so that you can be entered into that contest. And remember, the more you share, the more chances you have in winning, because the person that shares the most is going to be the winner of this gift to have a strategy session with me. And this is valued at $500. I'm not cheap as a coach. However, I really love diving in with people and amplifying their vision and their dreams. So let's bring on AnneMarie. And let me just tell you a little bit about AnneMarie. AnneMarie is one of my soul sisters. She is someone that I met a couple years ago. I think we're going on year 2, right? And I just immediately fell in love with her context in how she showed up, how she presented herself, and the value that she was creating for people. I love people that wear their hearts on their sleeve. I love people that wear their mission on their hearts and that really are here to serve. Everything else is just bonus, and that's how I feel about AnneMarie, that everything else is just added bonus because she is so devoted to her work. And she brings us, her specialty is in corporate burnout, reversing it into thriving. She also works with cancer people. She's a corporate trainer. I'm going to bring her on live, and we are going to be jamming on the power of beginning your year with personal responsibility, radical responsibility, taking ownership of your life, taking ownership of your dreams. Now, how do I bring you on, girl? How do I bring you on? Let me find you. There we go. And thank you, AnneMarie, for being patient with me. I had to do a little intro because I haven't really been promoting it online. So I'm excited that we have a few people on live with us, and we are going to jam on radical responsibility. What does that mean and how it can alter your entire life? Let's see if this is working. It says adding. Let me know on your end if you're seeing it, AnneMarie. And then while I wait to add you, I'm going to pull up Facebook on the laptop. What's up, George, Shakisha, Izzy? Let me stop the adding and try it again. Okay. It says can't bring on AnneMarie. Do you want to try logging off and logging back on, Mama? What's up, Izzy? Jared, what's going on? George, so many amazing people on. Luimi, thank you guys for jumping on. We're going to be jamming with AnneMarie on the power of really operating from radical responsibility, because I don't feel it's something you do. I don't think responsibility is something you do. So it's not about taking. And I've heard about this while there we go. Let's see if this works. And I hear a lot of people in transformation say, I take responsibility as a form of apology. And can we just call bullshit? It's not about, you're not really taking responsibility. But we'll get into that with AnneMarie. Okay, let's see if it works now. Crossing my
I'm sorry. Hello.
What's up, Mama?
How are you?
A little bit of echo. Are you good on your way?
I can hear the echo. Can everyone else hear it? Let me just turn my volume down. Am I echoing your end? Is that better?
Much better. Yes.
Much better, yes.
Yay.
I'm still hearing my echo. Is that your computer?
No, I'm just on my phone.
Okay.
So, can everyone else hear our echo? All good?
Which other stream?
Oh, it might be your streams. Have you got something up?
Use headphones.
Okay, perfect. Oh, I'm excited
to chat with you.
I believe it's a year.
Can you guys hear me now? Without the echo? I'm still echoing? Yeah, I still am. I only have one on, which is my cell phone.
We all get it all the time.
Can you put on headphones, AnneMarie? That'll support.
Give me 2 seconds.
Sure. All right, let's see if that works. Thank you guys for being so patient. What's up, Ray? Christopher. We're gonna try the second headphone. And if not, we'll jump off.
I'm back. Okay.
Fernando, thanks for being on it. So guys, full disclosure. Yes.
Can you hear me?
It sounds so awesome. Yes. Echo's gone, right, guys?
Echo's gone. Let me just plug this up because I can't hear you.
Full disclosure, I'm on day 2 of a water fast.
Oh. I have seen a load of people doing it. It seems exciting.
It's amazing, man. Evan's really put
Okay.
something amazing. All right, so let's dive
Yes,
in.
no echo. Woohoo!
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for
Fresh.
problem solving this
Thank
with
you.
us all. So, setting the intention that Spirit speaks through us, as us, and that the message lands wherever it's meant to in the hearts of the people it's meant to touch. You're someone that I love, that I respect, that I admire, that I see you in the trenches doing your thing, and you're all heart, which is what I love about you. So, we decided to touch on radical responsibility. But before we dive in, tell them a little bit about you, what you do, who you are, and where you're from.
Thank you. So I come to you today from the beautiful Ireland, which is where I grew up and where I was raised, but I lived in the UK for 10 years, where I was working in corporate retail and training and development, leadership training. And about 4 years ago, I made the leap to step out of the permanent corporate world, but still wanted to keep some space for it. And now I combine those experiences in the learning and development and leadership world with that more kind of new age mindset, or well, really they're old age mindsets that we've just started calling new age. It's those ancient philosophies of, you know, coming back to the heart, coming back to the mind, coming back to our soul and spirit, and really looking at how when we live in alignment, we can step into our truest potential and live in happiness. And so I do bring that into the corporate world, as well as taking the corporate philosophies into the personal world, because they work. And so the two marry beautifully together. And, you know, some days you'll see me wearing a very corporate suit, and the other days I'm woo-woo wearing crystals. So it's a beautiful balance, because everybody gets access to it. And that was my realization, and why I was in the corporate world for so long, was I get to speak both languages.
Yes, yes. Now, let's dive into this topic. What's up, Belkis, Jacinto, Wito? Oh my God, there's so many awesome people. Chanel.
I see so many familiar faces. Hi, everyone.
Tell me, why this topic? Why is it so important?
So, radical responsibility. For me, I just even love how it rolls off the tongue. But it's so important because we can all run around casting blame, creating excuses, living from our story. And when we really get down to the nuggets of it, we all have choice. We all have opportunity to change, to shift, to do something else, to create a new opportunity. And when we recognize the radical responsibility that we can take for ourselves, that's when things change. And for me, it's so important, because with anything, for me, it was when I realized how my health was being affected by me not taking responsibility, not only for it, but for my life choices, and just allowing life to happen to me rather than seeing that it happens for me. It was when I took radical responsibility, that's when my life changed dramatically. And the word radical kind of gives it that, whew, yeah, powerful feeling.
Yes. And I have to share something personal. This is the one distinction that I struggled with the most in becoming a coach and a trainer. Because I was still, even though I thought I was taking responsibility, I was still in my victim. And what people are failing to realize, what's up, Carlos, Heida, Elizabeth, Serena, what's going on, babe?
Hey,
Renata, awesome. What people don't realize is that the moment the word this other person or the circumstance comes in, the moment we make it about that, no, but you don't understand, Michelle, like this person did this to me.
Yep.
You have lost, you're not in the radical responsible conversation. Because it's a being, it's a state of mind, understanding that on a spiritual level, we've authored all of it for our own awakening. This whole entire thing is a setup by us, for us, and those people are playing messengers.
Yeah. And that's exactly kind of where some people find this topic quite hard to grasp because they go a certain point. It's a bit like, forgiveness. I forgive them because ... I'll forgive them
Like if you're doing
when ...
them a favor.
And and so being radically responsible means radical. It means every time, all the time, every damn day. And noticing that these patterns that show up for us, and noticing that what happens in our lives and around us, and the people we attract, and the things that happen to us, and the situations we find ourselves in will continue to repeat until we evolve.
Yes.
And when we take responsibility for those things, whether we are not to blame, but responsible for them happening to us, some things we can't avoid. These things happen to us in our lives through circumstance, through, just unfortunate events. And the radical responsibility we can take for those situations is in our response to them. So I have a real saying, and replace the word healing with evolving, if you wish.
Love that.
My wounds may not be my doing, but my healing is my responsibility. So the responsibility comes from the reaction, the response, and the healing from these situations. And to see it in that way, it makes it so much easier to grasp, because we're not looking at the events anymore. We're not looking at this thing happened, or here's what happened. We're looking at what can I do from it, and what's here for me. And that's where I live from, that space of radical responsibility when I talk about it and understand it. And it's saying, well, it's all here for me, every bit of it. And I created that because those little messengers you talk about, they come in all shapes, sizes, packages. And if we get to blame somebody for the wrongdoings and the pain we've experienced, and we get to blame them for where we are in the good spaces and the great stuff, because we become who we are because of those things.
And we give away our power in that moment that we choose to stay in that victim state. Michelle said, can you say that quote again? And I felt that when you said that quote about the
healing.
Replace healing with evolving.
Okay. So
was it that one, Michelle? Let us know.
That one. Well, for me, it's and we can say wounds or pain or suffering, but your wounds may not be your fault or your doing, but your healing is your responsibility. And so you can replace healing with evolving. So your wounds may not be your doing, but your evolving is your responsibility.
Yes.
And so we take ourselves out of victimhood when we do that, because the victim story, the victim mentality just keeps us small. Yeah. And we're making other people heroes, and we're making other people villains. And so why can't we play the role of our own hero for us?
And then what people don't understand is that you're in the trap. The moment you make anybody the villain, or you make anybody the hero, or you make yourself the hero, which is quite common, you're stuck in this trap. You're stuck in this victim cycle, and there's no power in that. There's no freedom in that, and there's no growth in that.
No. And I'll be honest, and here's where we get to see ourselves evolving as coaches. And over the years, my sort of pattern would be hero/victim/hero/victim. And it wouldn't be the big evolving like poor me and woe is me, and then I'll come and save the day. It would be in very small, subtle ways. And it was doing nobody any favors. It was burning me out, and it was not giving other people the opportunity to take responsibility for their own evolving, their own healing, their own growth. And so we might think we're doing good for everybody else by being that hero for others. And in actual fact, by doing that, we're creating victims. So
Preach.
we get to hold people to their highest by not being even the hero. Everybody will be saying, oh, well, I don't want to be the victim, so let me find a new role. And nobody identifies as the villain. Let me just put it out there.
Can I just say that you brought something so powerful to the table about how coaches can be in a drift. We're all humans.
Yes.
We've all done it. And prop themselves as the hero of their clients.
Yeah.
Either not asking powerful questions, either giving way too much stuff. enabling the experience, not holding them radically responsible for their creation.
Yes.
Because we can only be source to what we're doing, right? So as coaches, we're not taking full responsibility for every aspect in our lives, then everything touches everything, and you're tethered with your clients. So they're all. I had a call come in. So they're also tethered to our own conversations of where we're not willing to go.
Oh yeah, and I think for me, some of my biggest learnings come from my clients or people who show up in my world because they're reflections of me. And I sort of see and I'm like, oh great, what's here for me? Again, what's here for me? And by not being the hero, and a lot of people ask me, and maybe this is going on a tangent, but it might help others as well to take the radical responsibility, because I would consider myself an empath. I can feel, sense, feel emotions, and I really get into it with people. And by shifting that to compassion, it changes the whole thing, because I don't buy into story anymore. And I don't allow the story to dictate or reflect the person's potential. Because as coaches, or even as friends, mentors, bosses, people out there who are in leadership roles, if we continue to perpetuate someone's situation by allowing that story to hold them small or be an excuse not to step up or step forward, we're not in service.
So good. This is so good. This is so good, because we're all humans and we all go through stuff where we feel victimized, and it's not about prompting yourself as this fully evolved human being that doesn't have feelings. Now you've somehow graduated to the 5D ether and you're untouchable. It's not about that. It's really about owning it. Okay, this is where I'm at. This is what I've created. I don't know how the fuck I got here, but this is what I created. And if you truly understand that everything is an energetic response to you, to your vibration, to your thoughts, to your words, to your choices, moment to moment, then you'll take a look back and see that everyone is just playing the role in your awakening.
Yes. And we get to be grateful for that.
Yes.
And one of the other radicals I love is radical forgiveness, because it's really just radical gratitude, but lovely, beautifully packaged up with that bow. And the idea is that we get to be grateful for those who have done us wrong or created pain in our lives, because they came as a messenger. They came to us to teach us something and to allow us to step forward. And that's when radical responsibility comes in. We get to choose whether we take that on or whether we just allow it to be the thing that happened to us. So
this is so good.
You know, somebody here said, can you share some of your examples? And, you know, I've lost 2 parents to cancer. I've had skin cancer myself.
At a young age. Okay, go ahead.
22, 25, 26, bam, bam, bam. And other traumas and things just our family have had. And I could very easily be walking around either in victimhood, in depression, in addiction, or in sorrow for myself, or in grief still. And my choice was to allow myself to feel, experience, and be in it, and to understand that this is here to serve me in some way, and be grateful. And a lot of people find that really difficult to comprehend when I say I'm grateful for my parents' cancer and my parents' death. And it's not a sense that I'm glad they died. That's not what we're saying. It's saying, well, what can I find in it for me? Because I could choose to only see the trauma and only see the pain, and walk around in my entire life and saying, well, if only you knew. If only you knew what I'd been through. And then make allowances for me, or make allowances for myself. So the sort of the examples are that we can become radically responsible and radically grateful for the things that happen for us in our lives, or make a different choice.
This is real talk, guys. And this is one of the reasons why I love your story so much, AnneMarie, because I can't imagine, right? Like, I lost a father, and I can't imagine losing both parents at that age that you did. And to see who you are in the world and how you are with people, who you are to me, who you are to Suneva and all our girls, like, it's like, wow. And when you say, yeah, things happen and we can either get hooked on them Or we can choose to look different and choose to stay focused on what's in it for me to grow and evolve and contribute from this.
Yep.
I learned from a mentor a couple of months ago. She said something so powerful about the biblical passage of Jesus when he says turn the other cheek. It didn't land for me until a couple months ago. I get it. Turn the other cheek, hold mercy, hold space for your brother. However, when she said it in this way, the metaphysics behind turn the other cheek is take your focus and your attention elsewhere.
Yep.
Don't get hooked on it.
Yep.
Move towards where you want to be, towards what you want to create, and use that energy to propel where you want to focus. And I was like, oh, okay.
And that's beautiful, because what I want to pull out from that is that you
Yeah.
said use that energy, because we can all spiritually bypass things and pretend
Yes.
it didn't happen. And that is not what I'm talking about. And I'm like, get into the ditches, go through the pain, experience it, feel it, acknowledge it, without getting, dragged down and staying there, and then take that energy and use it. Because it's super easy to take a spiritual bypass, and when I say that, it's sort of ignoring what's really going on and just looking for a higher meaning or a higher reason, without really saying, I am a human also, and I get to experience the human pain of this, or the human experience of it, whether we call it pain. Or a friend of mine recently told me that when she was giving birth, her yoga instructor said, just call it pressure. And she's like, I'm feeling pressure right now. Because we can just change our context. So whether we call it pain or whether we call it learning experience, whatever, it's taking that energy, and I love that.
And using it, absolutely. The other distinction, since we brought up forgiveness, I didn't know we were going to bring this up, but you're absolutely right. They're so connected and intertwined.
Yeah.
The taking radical responsibility and the forgiveness piece, right? I loved what you said, that radical forgiveness is truly radical gratitude, being grateful for it all.
It is.
And for me, forgiveness is understanding, like real forgiveness, radical forgiveness is understanding that there's nothing to forgive.
Yeah, boom, that's it.
The word itself, if you break it apart, guys, forgive, to give it forth, it forth because it's not yours. And when we're able to understand that there's nothing to forgive, that this was all authored, co-created by us, for us, then we look at those messengers, like you said earlier, AnneMarie, as our biggest blessings.
Our biggest. Yeah. And you can apply this to relationships. You can apply this to that job that you took that you regret, or the boss that felt like it was a nightmare at the time. And now just put that new context on there and say, wow, what can I be grateful for? Because that's taking responsibility for yourself, and bringing it back to radical responsibility, because we've kind of gone down there. It's sort of saying, I created this and I get to do something with it.
Right. So Jennifer said something really powerful. Going through cancer treatment was a game changer. I quit a job that was sucking the life out of me and started a business that I love. Yes, please share what business. Beautiful. How did you connect that? Awesome. Yeah, Serena, it's not yours. There was a question that I want to pull up that was said.
And while you're pulling that up, I'll kind of respond to Jennifer's. That's taking radical responsibility. You shifted. Something did not align. And when we look at cancer, and it's a big wake-up call. It is one of the biggest wake-up calls. And, thank God you're here and you're well, hopefully, really thriving. That's the moment when life gives you a message. And my skin cancer, was a little wake-up call. And I'm under no illusions that if I continued to live the life I did at that age, it was 22, it was young, I would have manifested even more. And I still know that. That is my guiding force. So well done to you and to anyone else out there who has taken those wake-up calls and really used them.
Jennifer said personal shopping and delivery and working on being a budget coach. Amazing.
Powerful.
Hava said a question earlier. So what can I do different from now on? I don't know if that was a question or if that was a statement, but let's say AnneMarie, that someone is deeply in their victim. Someone is going
Yeah.
through it. They're going through a situation. They don't see how the fuck they created it.
Yeah.
And they're like, this person is the devil, the death of
Yep.
me. What would you say? What's up,
So,
Kipa?
hi, Keepa. I would say, first of all, number one, do not start judging yourself for being a victim, because that's still victim mentality. So
Nice.
be gentle with yourself, acknowledge it, and
Nice.
look, we've all been there. I believe that we all go through every role so that we can understand it, and we may not know we're in it at the time. So the biggest kind of advice I would give for this is, if your words or your thoughts or your mindset is instinctively putting it on somebody else's shoulders, stop there and say, perfect, that's what I'm experiencing. What's in this for me? What's here for me? And what have I done, said, thought, or believed in order for this to happen so that I can shift it?
Yeah.
So it may be your limiting beliefs, it may be some actions or behaviors, and it's a cycle. So if you think about any relationship, whether it's a sister or your boss or your partner, if they're doing things or showing behaviors that you're blaming them for, check in with where it can start with you. What are you doing to allow space for it, or to have perpetuated it or created it? And they're the
Beautiful.
little questions to ask yourself and say, okay, if we're just throwing it all out on the table, how can I take responsibility here in some way? And then how can I show more love to this situation?
That's really key. How can I show more
Mm-hmm.
love to the situation? Because I think we stop ourselves where
Yep.
we're like, all right, fine, I'll take responsibility. But how are you infusing love into this
Yes.
fragment that you've created, this separation, this dissonance that's only speaking for you to reclaim it with love and grace?
Yeah. And it's so beautiful when it comes to any situation where a relationship is involved. And I'm talking any type of relationship
Yeah.
where the initial feelings of blame may take time to kind of fizzle away before we're really ready to go, oh, okay, this was me. So showing love kind of fast tracks that. And it says,
Right.
how can I show more love to this person, this situation, and myself here?
Yes. I want us to dive in a little deeper with radical
Yeah.
responsibility, because we've only been touching on contrast. When
Yep.
the resistance shows up, when the contrast shows up,
Yeah.
how can we really step in taking radical responsibility for our dreams, for our vision, for what excites us, for what the passions, the dreams that are in our hearts that we've buried under the circumstances and all the bullshit that we tell ourselves to stop ourselves from going after them?
So proactively being radically responsible is such a powerful, powerful move and such a powerful step. So when it comes to being radically responsible for our dreams, our ambitions, our life's alignment, our purpose, it's giving ourselves space to actually create time to do it, and dropping excuses, dropping the procrastination, whatever it is that's holding you back from even looking at it. So I know a load of people will have their beautiful new 2019 planners and their journals and their new fancy pens and everything, and that's great, and me too. And have you committed aligned action to doing something with that?
Boom.
So
Yes.
so first, give time, create space, create time, get the things, get organized. So whether it's those things that you need, the tools, whatever that looks like, but then time and space, and then actual aligned action. So give yourself the opportunity with the tools and the space to do it, and then ask some powerful questions of yourself and be really trusting, because if we're asking the same question over and over again, we know the answer, we're just scared of what it is. And so
This is so good.
the trust that you can have in yourself is the most powerful thing that I can recommend. So forget the pens and the fancy paper and the notebooks, but that just makes it more fun. You could write on the back of an envelope, big questions. What have I been avoiding?
Right.
What am I scared to look at in 2019? Where have I been procrastinating? What would really set my soul on fire if I could not fail?
Yes.
Where am I scared to fail? So these big questions that it's our, like our ego mind will stop us answering them by saying,
Yeah.
oh, you're really busy now, go check social media, or go, oh, you should do the dishes. As soon as you sit down to do any of these things, if there's resistance, there's a big answer behind it.
Right.
So go there. And that's the responsibility of sitting down or giving yourself that space to do it.
I love the question that you said, if I couldn't fail, what would light my soul on fire?
Yeah.
I think, ask yourself, people, if this was your last year, what would you do? What would you create this year? Like, just because. Don't attach the, I want to create, I want to be a coach to reach millions of people and make the lifestyle. Don't attach the because. Just what would you create if you knew you couldn't fail and all you had was this year? And write that down and let it come from just a pure space of creativity, flow, spirit guiding you. What really excites you? And then take action, like AnneMarie just said. That, I loved how you phrased it though. We gotta rewind a little bit because you threw a nugget in it that was so powerful. She said, you said proactively radical responsibility. Taking
Yes.
massive action that is aligned, that is clear, and is coming from a solid space of like, I got this. There's no way I can fuck this up.
Yeah. Because there's no such thing as fucking up.
Exactly.
Even if it doesn't look like how you thought it would be packaged.
Exactly.
It's perfect. And that just creates so much more space and joy and freedom and breath in our lives. Because if we let go of the idea of we know what perfect looks like, if we take responsibility for everything and know that within that responsibility we can handle whatever comes.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's fear and we're afraid of failure, but actually we're afraid we won't be able to handle what comes with our perceived idea of failure.
That is so good.
If
Or success.
Or success, exactly.
Both ways. Like,
Yep.
subconsciously you can be sabotaging yourself
Yeah.
because there's this ingrained belief that what will come with success, you won't be able to handle it. So you will constantly reach that plateau that you're self-sabotaging on. Absolutely.
And most things come from a fear. If you're in a space where you're creating blame or you're not stepping forward and you're not taking responsibility for your life, there's a fear of something. And when you know you can handle anything and everything because you have until this very moment, today you are here, you're sitting, you're watching, and so you're alive and you are breathing. So you've handled it all, whatever came. And I want to really, really put that forward and say that everybody out there is beautifully capable of handling anything that comes their way. So take away the fear and the fear of disconnection or the fear of judgment, and therefore you can take huge responsibility for yourself.
And I want to be honest with you guys, the fear is not going to go away.
No.
The fear is only going to get bigger as you continue to grow and step in to bigger playing fields for yourself. So the fear is not going to go away. However, the way you deal with it, the way you respond to it, the way you embrace it, the way you make it your friend versus your enemy, right? The way that you step into it is what's going to create the evidence for you to continue to step in and lean into those places that... Yeah, this is so good, Mama. I want to touch on two more things before we start wrapping up. But when we're out of integrity, what do you feel? What do you feel?
I love that word.
I heard recently, integrity is spiritual, and I just like blinked up. I'm like, yes! What would you say to someone that is constantly looking outside of themselves or critiquing others, which in the beginning of my journey of coming online, I would look at everyone doing Facebook Lives, like, look at this one again. Everyone now has a microphone. I would say these thoughts, right?
Yep.
But it wasn't until I did the inner work that I got, girl, you have a message. And the resistance of you looking out on people that are simply showing you what's possible when you step in and own it. Do you see that
Yep.
the miscongruity that we create, the misalignment that we create because we're out of integrity with taking action on the things that we know we get to?
Yeah.
What would you say to those people?
So I would say the first thing is the first sign of you having a message to receive that you are either out of alignment or out of integrity is that you start judging other people. And the biggest
Yes.
thing I hear from people, like it just happens all the time at the moment anyway, and they're like, well, they think this about me, and they keep saying, and they I'm like, who are you judging them to be judges? Because that is it them or is it you?
Right.
And if we think something of other people, we're judging them. So first of all, that's out of integrity. If
Right.
your mission is connection, community, togetherness, oneness, love. But if we're out of integrity of our soul and our message and our mission, I would say look at very closely the judgments you're making of other people.
So good.
And lean into it. Lean in there,
So
because
good.
there's a fear. There's a fear that may be driving that. And the more we call for fear forward, the less power it has.
Yes.
So the more we do it. So just to take your example, and I've been there too, where it's sort of there's that the judgment of others is actually what I'm afraid of being judged about.
Yes.
So start to look at that part of myself and look at where I'm actually judging me, but I'm projecting it onto others. Or people who say to me, and it might be from their mother's eyes, and I'm like, what lens have you just put on? When you go to the opticians, they give you those like little lenses into the
Right.
glasses. I'm like, whose lens did you just try on there? Is it your judgmental self? Is it your heart-centered self? Is it your mother's eyes? Is it your siblings? Who is it? And so to actually remove all of the lenses and just come from heart and come from source and love, that would be where I would be driving people to.
I think you're like right on the money, because for me it was exactly that. I wanted to go online. I wanted, for me, ever since I started the coaching and transformation 10 years now, it was all about reaching the world,
Yep.
the world. We would do it through trainings. How many trainings can we do to reach a global impact? So when I would see people on doing Facebook Lives and doing videos, because I wasn't on my game,
Yep.
of being in alignment with reaching the masses, going global, right? I was judging the ones that were putting themselves out there.
Yeah.
From the fear, just like you said, of what will people think when I go online. And it's the bullshit we tell ourselves to hold us back.
Yep.
So I thank you for really illustrating that so beautifully. I want us to dive into something that you are an expert in. And when I first heard you say, I really make a difference with people that are cancer survivors and people that come from corporate burnout, immediately, I don't know if you remember what I told you, I was like, girl, this is so needed. This is so needed, because there are so many people that are in corporate that do not want to be in corporate. There are so many people that are doing the job because they think they have no other way, and they're burning themselves out. Even in entrepreneurs, there are so many people that are curating a very beautiful fabricated life, and however are not being honest with themselves about the struggles and really experiencing them. Like you said, there's a lot of spiritual bypassing. But that burnout and that misalignment, that going away from our truth and our purpose and our message, can result in disease.
Yes.
And something I learned from you that was so powerful, when our cells forget their purpose, this is the definition of cancer. And it all begins in the metaphysics, in the energy structure. So let's jam on that for a little bit. What would you say to people that are in a job that they hate? What would you say to people, entrepreneurs that are feeling the burnout? What would you say to people that have already manifested the disease of cancer to get back into purpose and freedom?
Okay. Thank you for bringing this forward, because I love this topic, and I think it's really needed to be heard right now. And So the first thing I would say is, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, but what's here for me? It's all a message. It's all there to serve you. So that's the first one, but we've done that one. When we find ourselves with dis-ease, whatever that looks like, dis-ease in life, so just feeling unhappy, or disease in our bodies or disease in our mind, it starts with that metaphysical side, and then it creates itself into that physical, because it's waiting for us to wake up to see it. And when we're not in alignment, our bodies will continue to show us the way. And our body's job is to keep us alive. It is a beautiful, like, it down to the tiniest cell. Every single cell is conspiring to keep us alive. And so when something like cancer happens, or something like diabetes or heart disease or anything else that we experience comes from a space of maybe we've been out of alignment, and we get to look at that. So for those who are out there who know already that you hate your job, start to look at it. Start to look at what your other options are. And I'm not here to dog on the corporate world, because a lot of people are thriving in the corporate world.
A lot of people
and there
love
are
it,
a lot
yes.
of amazing corporate companies doing beautiful, wonderful things. Check in with, are you in alignment with the company? So just like a cell in our body, that building that you walk into every day, its pulse, its heartbeat, its creation, what it's manifesting in the world, what it's putting out there, are you in alignment with that? Because you are a cell in that business, just like the cell in your body. And it only takes one tiny cell to multiply into cancers that spread through our bodies. And it's one cell being out of purpose. Because a cancer cell is literally a cell that no longer knows its purpose. It does not. It no longer knows it's a breast cancer. It's a breast cell. And so when you're a human being in this huge, big sort of thing we call life, wherever it is, if it's your relationship, your job, your your where you live, find out what's out of alignment for you. And to do that, it's checking in with yourself, your values, instead of the blame. Oh, it's the corporate company's problem. It's their fault. It's my relationship's fault. It's my family's fault. It's
My
where
boss.
I live. I hate my country, and whatever.
The president.
Exactly. It's not outside of you, but you still get to choose to move without, or shift and change. You don't have to stay and sort of lump in and say, okay, I'm in this. I'm responsible for myself. You get to move. And you get to see where, where you want to be, and what are your values, and what sets your soul on fire. And that's why taking responsibility for you, for your future, for your dreams, for your ambitions, for your alignment is key to this planet, to this evolution of our world, of our businesses, of apply it to anything. And we will see less and less diseases happening if people actually stop and proactively look at what it is that they want, and create boundaries, and, put themselves forward. And
This is so beautiful.
it will prevent these burnouts. I truly, truly believe it. And I'm trying to avoid saying but, and sometimes the burnouts are necessary to get the wake-up call and the message.
Yes.
But we can see them sooner if we start to look at it from a whole.
I love that you just said that, because it is absolutely true, guys. We are authors of all the breakdowns, because we are setting up our biggest breakthrough. And sometimes it does take cancer for you to wake the fuck up. Sometimes it does take losing our parents to wake up.
Yes.
And instead of questioning how hard it is, how horrible it is, how challenging it is, use AnneMarie's question of what's here for me. What's here for me, and how can, and I would attach another question, how can I serve with this mess? How can I serve it? Because we're forgetting that it's all happening to add to our story of who we came here to be, and most importantly, what we came to contribute. We are always growing for the purpose of contributing. And this is something that Anthony Robbins preaches a lot about, it in the top 2 human needs that are about fulfillment. We came here to grow. And if we're not growing, we are not living, we are not loving. And with that comes death, the death of ourselves.
The definition of if it's not growing, it is dying.
It is.
We as humans, we peak and we can decide when that ends. But
Yeah.
it's so true. And a plant, if it's not growing, then it's dying, and it's very quick. It's like the top of a mountaintop.
Yeah.
So being in a thriving state, living for our purpose, our dreams, our ambitions, and to fulfill the world keeps us in that growth state.
Yes. Yes. And honor the moments you get to cocoon. Honor the feelings, honor the emotions, take the spaces, like AnneMarie said earlier, really create the space for you to receive and listen to the messages that your heart is trying to get to wake you up, using the external circumstances to get your attention.
Yes.
Use the space. Don't be so stubborn. Sit your ass down, go meditate, journal, sit in silence. If you don't know how to meditate, watch a tree, just watch a body of water, turn on a candle, stare at a candle. Create the space for you to be still and silence the mind.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I love you so
I
much.
love you too.
Thank you so much, AnneMarie. Let them know where they can reach you. I'm also going to be posting the links in the email that we sent out, the replays. You're going to be getting a link to AnneMarie's gift to you all. But share us about what that is and where they can find you.
So you can find me on here. I should be tagged somewhere in this post. Facebook, AnneMarie Griffin. And my website is Rise with AnneMarie. And I'm on Instagram as AnneMarie Griffin as well. So, and I post content to really support people to get deeper into their own joy, their own understanding of themselves, and really just to inspire. And my free gift to you today is it's a 7, I can't remember what I really called it, but it's 7 steps to taking control of your health and happiness. Because from what hopefully you've found from what I've been saying today is it's really all within our control, and we get to own it, and we get to take back our power, and our health, our happiness, our lives, it's all the same thing. So when we start to take control in one area, it starts to bounce and reflect on others. So this little short guide will help you through step by step to really start some tangible things that help you to own it this year. Own it like a boss.
Own it like a boss. That's what we're doing. We're owning 2019 like a boss. AnneMarie, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your beautiful Zen energy with us and getting us back to what matters most, which is starting the year, starting and beginning and ending your days, your moments with radical responsibility for all of it. Not just the messes, not just the contrast, but also your dreams. What are you here to create? What are you here to ignite? What are you here to leave as your legacy? So it's time we start dreaming bigger, thinking bigger. Don't forget that we're doing a contest. Whoever shares the most lives is going to win a session with me. And make sure that you subscribe to creatingyour2019.com so you get all the replays, packaged meditations, freebies. Every speaker is giving away something super powerful. I downloaded AnneMarie's gift. I believe I had it already because it said that I already had it. But I love it. I think it's super powerful to her perspective of how she integrates not just the mindset, but also the nutrition. She touches on that, on how to really honor our body as a vessel. So, love you, girl. Thank you so much. I started with the Irish Queens. My next one up is another Irish Queen, and that is going to be in 20 minutes. So stay tuned for that.
Tune back in. She's amazing. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
I honor you, Mama. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for jumping on.